So, Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama Anjaneya Bhagavan Ki Jai. Dashakam 34-35 Ramayana Dashakams. The gist of Ramayana has been described in about roughly 20 shlokas. Girvanairarthyamano. Here Bhattatri starts the main purpose of Rama Avataram, saying that because the gods prayed to you and for the destruction, Dashamukha Nidanam, for the destruction of the 10-headed Ravana, Kosaleshu, in the land of Kosala, Rama Avataram took place. How the Rama Avataram took place, that line, Rishyashangaha, the place in Kosala Desham, in Kosala, Rishyashranga came there, he did a Putrakameshti Yajna, Dasharatha Kshmabrite, to Kshmabhrit, another name for king, Nripaha, Kshmabhrit. In Amarkosha it comes Kshmabhrit, another name for king. For extra reference, if you want, you can note it down. He gave the divine payasa which came out as prasada to his queens, and by eating which, now here Bhattatri has been very, very specific. It's not that it's something magic, the queens ate the payasam and suddenly they could conceive also, like suddenly a child is born. No, the process became a bit easy. Just as we go and pray to some time in temples or so, you get some prasadam, or you go to a doctor, they advise some treatment, the process becomes a bit easy. Similarly, here also the same thing happened. Dasharatha did this Putrakameshti Yajna, he got the prasada, he consumed that, he gave that to his wife. First half was given to Kaushalya. Out of the second half which remained, the half was again divided into two, was given to Sumitra. Then out of the quarter that was left, again that was divided into two parts. One was given to Kaikeyi. The fourth quarter which was given was again given to Sumitra. So this is how the division is. 1.5. One whole portion is there. Out of that, half entirely was divided, given to Kaushalya. That's how Rama was born. Half still remained, half was still divided into two. So one quarter. One quarter entirely was given to Sumitra. That's how Lakshmana was born. Then Kaikeyi. Then still that one quarter is remaining. That again that one quarter was divided into two. One quarter to Kaikeyi, Bharata. Another quarter to God, which remained Sumitra, Shatrughna. This is how the division was made. Finally, Jatasvam Ramastam Lakshmanena Swayamata Bharathena Pishatrughna Namna. And finally, you were born, O Lord, as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. Finally, next again, now all the children, now little reference if you want, I'll tell you about Risheshringa. Risheshringa again, he was the son of a sage called Vibhandaka. And Risheshringa was a child who had never seen anything apart from his ashrama, apart from his father. That's it, he had not seen anyone else because he was living only in the ashrama in the forest. But that's when you had certain people who came and told that this Risheshringa, the minute he is bought, rains will start falling and so on. So that's how in Sringeri today, how that name comes is after this Risheshringa. They said that Risheshringa came to Sringeri and that's how heavy rain started pouring. That's how you have Sringagiri, as we say. Rishya Shringaha, Shringaha meaning horn. It is believed that this Rishi, he had a horn on his head. Now, there are some references which say that he was born through a deer and things like that. Now, how far that is true and things like that, we cannot get into that much. But it is definitely believed that there is Vibhandaka's ashrama. Near that, on the banks, there was a river that was flowing. There, a deer was there who was carrying a child with her, and she was in her late labor also, and she tried to cross over the stream. That's when the stream started overflowing. The child that was there, the small young one of the deer, it fell in the stream. So, and the mother, in while she was trying to save her child, the mother deer who was there, the river, she started flowing and she died. That's what is the belief. The female deer left behind. So that's what the rough story that is there with regard to Risheshringa. All this happened near the ashrama of Vibhandaka. Now, while all this was taking place, that's how through all these incidents, somehow you have the birth of Risheshringa, which is highlighted. So some say he has got a horn also. So that is not that important, but you can definitely, we must know how the birth took place and so on. But a very, very blessed sage who was there, And through him in Sringeri, you have rains that started pouring in. And that's how he was told that you have to come to Ayodhya also to perform this Putrakameshti Yajna. Dasharatha invited him, and that's how later Dasharatha had a daughter, I told you, named Shanta. Shanta was given to Shanta. She was a bit crippled, a bit handicapped, and she was given to one of Dasharatha's friends, Romapada, a king called Romapada. And later, Romapada, he married Shanta. He performed the marriage of his daughter Shanta along with this sage, Rishashaka. Now, a quick question. Why did Dasharatha do? Now, Dasharatha himself was not blessed with children, right? So, what was the need? And still, he gave away his daughter to another king, Romapada. Any reason for that? Anyone knows? Now, you already have a child. You give it to someone else, and then you end up doing a Putra Kameshti. Why? That can be one reason. What else? Okay. Now, Romapada, this. Sorry? No, 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 no. Romapada, this king was an old king, a very old king, and they were not blessed with children at all. Dasharatha was still young then. So, therefore, it was said that he can beget children even later, the different sacrifices, or he also had three queens who were there, three chief queens. So, therefore, the child was Shanta was given to Romapada. This is the reason why it took place. But Romapada was old, so then he, nothing. Dasharatha was still young then, and he had three chief queens, so he could still beget children. But in the case of Romapada, he was old, so therefore Dasharatha ended giving his daughter Shanta to Romapada, a very close friend of his, and said that I can beget children later. But of course, no child was born to him easily. That's when he invited Rishishringa to do the Putrakameshti. So this is the reason why the daughter Shanta was given to Romapada, and later Shanta she ended up marrying this sage Rishyashringa. Finally, this is how. Let's continue. Rama Lakshmana, the four brothers, were born. Further, carrying Kodandi, Kaushikasya, Kaushikaha, another name for Vishwamitra. Carrying the Kodanda bow in his hand along with Vishwamitra and Lakshmana, both of them went to the forest, and there the sage imparted the mantra Bala and Atibala to both of them. They got many powers, they learned many mantras, they learned the use of many weapons, and finally they destroyed the demoness Tataka, and many other divine missiles were also given. Thus they went to the forest. Now here Bhattatri has not highlighted much in detail, but again Rama was a bit hesitant to kill Tataka, a female demoness. That's when Vishwamitra assures, saying that Rama says, I'll not break dharma. At that time, Vishwamitra assures, you don't have to talk and think about dharma. If the opposite person is a stree, if there is a need, if she's behaving like a stree, it's okay. But if she's causing destruction to the world, as a kshatriya, your first dharma is to protect the world, rest everything comes later. That's when he ends up killing Tataka. Further, what happens is, Tataka's children, Maricha, Subahu come, Maricha is driven away, he falls at a distance. He is not killed. Why he is not killed is destiny. Later, Maricha had an important role to play. Finally, Ahilya, who was there, the statue, she was also blessed by just keeping her sins. All her sins were purified just by keeping. Kalyam kurvan ahalyam pathipada rajasa, verse number 3. So, Bhattatri says, just by keeping your feet on the statue, Ahalya was freed from her sins. Finally, you reach Janaka's palace, and Indir Bindana Chandrachuda Dhanu. Chandrachudam, another name for Lord Shiva, bow. His bow was broken. Lord Shiva's bow was broken. That's when Avani Sutam, daughter of Bhuma Devi, Avani, Sita, Indiram Evalabdva. She was Indira. Indira is another name for goddess Mahalakshmi. She herself, goddess Devi Sita, who is goddess Mahalakshmi herself, she was married. Thus, both of you, as if all the marriage took place, all the brothers were married, and finally, along with all your three brothers, O Lord, you came back to Ayodhya. Finally, what happened is Parshurama at that time comes there with great anger. You defeat him also by consoling him. And there it so happened that Parshurama transferred all his powers to Rama. Thus, all of you, you went to Ayodhya, you lived happily with Sita. Finally, one day what happened is Shatrughne ekada gatavati bharate. Finally, both Shatrughna and Bharata go to their uncle's place. Your father, he fixed your Pattabhishekam. That's when Abhishek, last line, verse number 4. Tatarabdobhishekastav kila vihataha kekayadhisha putrya. Vihataha meaning obstruction. So obstructed Kekaya Adhisha Putrya by the daughter of Kekaya Desham, who's none other than Kaikeyi herself. Tatoktayatu kamo. Finally, the entire, all the crying and consoling, this, that, everything took place. Finally, obeying the command of your father and mother Kaikeyi, you proceeded to the forest along with Sita and Lakshmana with the bow in hand. The citizens of Ayodhya were in grief. Finally, you reach Guha. There, you cross the Ganga, you mat your hair. That is, you tie it in a jata. Finally, you meet Bharadwaja. And then you live in a place called, or in a mountain of Chitrakuta. That's where Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, they settle down. Finally, what happens is Bharata, he returns back from Kekadesham. He returns to Ayodhya. He's very sad to listen to the news of his father's demise. Finally, he comes, he performs Tarpanam, and he comes and meets you first. All the four brothers, they perform the final rites for their father. And then finally, O Lord, you give your sandals to Bharata. He carries them back to Ayodhya. He places them on the kingdom. And finally, you meet Atri, the sage Atri. Finally, from Chitrakuta, they proceed into Dandaka forest. There, the great demon Virada, he is killed. Hatva Daityam Viradham. The great Asura Virada is killed. And finally, Sharabanga. You take the darshan of Sharabanga, and Sharabanga attains moksha. Finally, verse number 8, you meet Agastya. Then you pray and you promise. The Lord promises Agastya that he'll kill all demons who are causing obstruction while they perform sacrifices. That's when the Lord was blessed with a Vaishnava bow and also the Brahmaastram. Finally, what happens is you meet Jatayu. So Jatayu here, as per Bhattatri, is reference, and also in the Ramayana it comes that Jatayu Rama meets even before Sita's abduction. That's a reference here. Bhuyash Jatayu Modad Goda Tatanti. On the banks of river Godavari, while you were about to settle in Panchavati, that's when you meet your father's friend Jatayu. There what happens is Shurpanakha, she comes Praptaya Shurpanakya, verse 8, Dashakam 34. Shurpanaka comes there, looking at you. She makes some advances. You send her to Lakshmana. She comes back to Rama. That's when Shurpanaka, when she tries to attack Sita, Lakshmana gets very angry. He cuts off her nose. That's when Khara, Dushana, Trishiras, they come. And you, in great anger, what happens is the Lord kills all of them. And more than 10,000 Rakshasas. Tatakshanat Akshata Ushma. If you see the last line, Takshanad Akshatoshma, meaning in no time also, or one whose powers, Kshaha, meaning destruction, Akshaha, meaning there is no limit at all, whose powers can never be destroyed. So the Lord, whose powers are limitless, he kills all the asuras. Finally, Ravana's sister Shurpanaka, she goes to Ravana, gives him an entire detail of what happened. She talks only about Sita. Ravana is attracted towards Sita. He orders Maricha to become the deer. Finally, Sita makes a desire for the deer. You kill it with an arrow. As Maricha dies, he calls out to Rama by he calls out to Lakshmana and Sita as if he's imitating Rama. That's when Sita somehow persuades Lakshmana to go and see you. That's when Sita was all alone, Ravana finds a chance to abduct her. And though here very very important line, verse number 9, Tena topettvamanta kimapi mudamadas. Kim api mudam meaning happy. Now why was Rama happy here? Bhattatri highlights saying that though you were very much sad listening or after the abduction of Sita, a bit mudam, you are a bit pleased because now finally the main purpose of Rama Avataram has come, that you are about to kill Ravana. So a bit you got a good reason now that Sita is abducted, so now I have to kill Ravana. Now here this is one thing. Secondly, where Rama was pleased, slightly pleased is because this is not the original Sita, we know the reference of Chaya Sita who's there. So mainly the purpose of Rama Avataram is coming true. That's the reason here. Bhattacharya highlights. Finally, last verse. While looking out for Sita, Jatayu dies. Jatayu is given moksha. That's when the final rites of Jatayu are performed by you, O Lord. Finally, Kabanda, the monster, he comes there, he obstructs you. He is also given moksha, he is also killed. Finally, Shabari comes and meets you. And then she advises that you go and meet Lord Hanuman on the banks of the river Pampa. So, thus, O Lord, this is your story, or this is the Leelas that you did during Rama Avataram. O Lord of Gurvayur, Pahivalayesha, just as you protected and did so many Leelas, similarly, kindly protect me, free me from this ailments too. With this, Bhattacharya concludes Dashakam 34. Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama Anjaneya Maharaj Ki Jai. So last time, if you remember, Dashakam 34 ends with Rama meeting Shabri. After Shabri, next meeting with Sugriva. So Dashakam 35 Nita Sugriva Maitri Tadano Hanumata. So now finally Rama comes, he takes Nita Sugriva Maitri and built friendship with Sugriva and then met Hanuman also. Now Sugriva was not that, you can say, convinced with Rama's power, so that's when he tells that little you please prove yourself. That's when Rama ends up kicking the corpse of Dundubi, an asura called Dundubi, and further with a single arrow. Patrena saptasalan, seven saltaries he shot down in one go. Finally, seeing all this, Atula balam valinam vyajavritya, finally also ended up killing Vali. And thus, Varsham vela manaishi, Varsha kalam. The rainy season was just spent there in the forest. Viraha taralitas, viraha meaning separation, separation from his wife Sita. He spent the 4 months because during the rainy season he was helpless, nobody could do anything. Matanga Ashramante, near the ashram of Matanga. Further, what happened is 4 months Rama waited patiently, nothing happened. Finally, Lakshmana goes to Sugriva's palace to search thus and convinces Sugriva. Sugriva also sets his army of monkeys in all the four directions to search for Sita. Now here, Bhattatri, Dashakam 35, he mentions everything in short. Of course, we know Ramayana is still, everything is given in detail, but here it is in short. Finally, Hanuman comes. The Dakshina Dishan monkeys whom they go, Rama had given Hanuman a ring. Finally, Hanuman goes and they all reach on the southern shore and they were all very happy. And it seems that Marge, Marge, Mamarge, verse number 2, Marge, Marge, Mamarge in all directions. The monkeys look for Sita. All the monkeys are very happy that they are on a mission to look for Sita and they put in all their efforts. Finally, on the southern shore, they see Sampati. Tadvarta Karananodyad Sampati Sampati Vakya. Finally, they meet Sampati there. When Sampati had told them about the whereabouts of Sita, that the lady sitting on the opposite side is Sita, Hanuman finally jumps over the ocean. He reaches Lanka. There he sees Sita, gives her the ring. Datvanguliyam. Then finally, he fought with Akshay Kumara and Akshakshapanaha. Akshaha is reference for Akshay Kumara. So he meets Akshay Kumara, he kills him. Then, yes, 35, 34 I'm not sure. 34, 35 we have to put together. So that's why I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. 34 is already explained. I will share the audio. Yeah. Finally, Akshay Kumara was killed by putting up the Brahmastra. Then Hanuman goes to the palace of Ravana, meets Ravana, burns down Lanka, and finally was given the Chudamani, the hair ornament. Mailaratnam, Mauliratnam, Dadaute. The Chudamani was given by Sita to Hanuman. Finally, what happened is, while he Hanuman crossed back the ocean, he went, all the other monkeys were waiting there. That time Vibhishana Kantam Sugrivangadadi Prabalaka Pichamo. They're all waiting and they were making arrangements to cross over the ocean to come to Lanka at that time. Nishicharendra Anujaha Shriyamanaha. Nishicharanam Indraha, meaning the Asura king. His brother Vibhishana came in, and that's when he discloses the secrets of the enemy wherever needed. That's how it became easy for Rama to fight with Lakshmana. Finally, there were Rama tried to pray to the ocean god to give him way, but nothing happened. That's when he takes out the Agni Astra to put it on over the ocean in anger. So Bhattatri says, "Oh Lord, you ended up putting even the fire missile. Fire missile is Rosha Prasta Agni Astra." If you see the line, I'll tell you. Last line, verse number 4. Praste Gnayastra Tejas. So you are about to put the Agni Astram that was there to dry up the entire ocean, but at that time, the ocean deity comes out, he gives you a way through the ocean. Then finally, what happens is all the monkeys from all the directions they bring rocks, mountains also, and thus a bridge is built. Finally, you cross over the ocean, and you and your brother, both of them, Lakshmana, showed terrific power. Finally, seems Ravana's son Indrajit is also he ends up tying you and your troops who are there with Nagastram. Finally Garuda comes and says, Patakapati Garod Marutaimo Chito Patakapati. Patakaha bird, Patakanam Patihi. Meaning the leader of birds. So on the king of birds, Garuda, he comes and he saves your troops. Finally, what happens is here also Bhattatri highlights that a weapon called Shakti was sent by Ravana and that also struck Lakshmana, which caused slipping on the life of Lakshmana went away. Finally, Hanuman got a herb Sanjeevani and that was given to Lakshmana. And finally, Lakshmana he killed up Indrajit. Killing of Indrajit was not that easy. Indrajit was a knower of many tricks, and finally, Vibhishana consoled. Vibhishana helped both of you to kill Indrajit and Ravana. Finally, Kumbhakarna also came. Kumbhakaranam sampraptam kampita urvitalam. Kampitaha meaning to tremble. Urvi is earth. He caused the entire earth to tremble. But still, you, O Lord, were then you were able to face all these dangers also and finally kill him. So here a very very important lesson is for Lord Rama also. Here Bhattadeva highlights so much, and here it seems that in some commentaries it is written that Bhattatri gets a feeling here that when the Lord has to face so much, who am I to cry and crib about things, right? At least in our case, what happens is we don't know what dangers will come on us. But in the case of the Lord, Lord Rama knew that my purpose itself, one one rule, or you can say one main important thing is to kill this Ravana. Now, killing Ravana is my purpose, but unlike all of us, Rama does not argue that my purpose or my avatara is to kill Ravana, why I have to face other Rakshasas, why I have to undergo other things. Just as we ask, right? If I have to reach here, I am given a particular work to do. I'll do only that. But to reach till that goal, we have to undergo many other things. Say, for example, have to go to a particular place, right? Or let's take our own example. We have a class at 6:30, right? If today we have a class also, behind that there are many things that we have to do. Maybe all of you have to keep the text study. In my case, I have to see what we have to learn. We have to learn together. Now, if I have to tell you something, I have to prepare a bit. Similarly, 1 hour also, if you have to sit for the class, there are many things that you have to do. Maybe you have to get ready, this and that. So for read, no, I'll just get up and sit. It doesn't happen that way, right? So every time, just give you one example. There are many things which are to be done. The Lord also does not argue. So here it seems that Bhattatri gets an idea here. He feels that the Lord himself has to suffer and undergo so much. What about a person like me who is crying out due to Vatarogam? And for the last 35 days, I'm invoking the Lord. We are on 35th Dashakam. One day, one Dashakam. Bhattatri writes. So here also he was crying and cribbing, no doubt, but here he realizes at one point it seems that the Lord also has to undergo so much. What to talk about sheer mere human beings like me who are crying and cribbing about small things. And this it seems that Rama and Dashakams they increase the faith of Bhattatri more on the Lord. And now again whenever we are sad we feel it's more right, but when we see someone also suffering, oh, at that time we feel okay, he is also facing the same problem. That means this is a situation which is common with everyone, so little our dukkha reduces, right? Because okay, there is someone else also to share this. So the same thing here, Bhattatri also could imagine it seems sad, and he got a sense of little satisfaction Of course, that doesn't mean that he didn't stop praying to the Lord, but little he was satisfied, and he started thinking deeply that when the Lord also has to face so much, what to talk about human beings like me? At least my dukkha is I'm just suffering from an illness. So he says, but finally, towards the end of this Dashakam, he says that when you, O Lord, had to undergo so much, you faced so much and you came out of that, you please help me. I'm just facing a small rogam that is there, a roga which is causing a lot of trouble to me. If you can free the world from a monster called Ravana, you can definitely free me from my disease. So this is a prayer of Pattatri here. Finally, what happens is verse number 7. Pattabhishekam Rama Ravana Yuddham Grindhanjambari, chariot, armor, everything was sent by Indra to fight for Rama to fight with Ravana. That's when by using the Brahmastram, everything is killed. Ravana is killed. Agni Pariksha is done. All the monkeys who had lost their life during battle were brought back to life. Vibhishana was made the king of Lanka. And thus, Nijanagaramaga Sapriya Pushpakena, along with Sita, finally you return back to Ayodhya. Then Prita Divyabhishekair, verse number 8 is actually Pattabhishekam. For more than 10,000 years, Ramarajam existed, Pattabhishekam was done. And finally, what happened is again Maithilya Papavacha. Because of again karma, Sita had to go to the forest. Tam garbhinima vyahasihi. Here Bhattatri feels very bad. He says, Shiva Shiva kila tam garbhinima vyahasihi. Shiva Shiva meaning pity, right? Because in very, let's not say wrong time, but that was how it was for Sita. At a time when she needed a lot of care also, when she was pregnant, at that time she was sent to the forest. Then further what happened, she lived in the ashrama of Valmiki. Lavanasura came, Shatrugnena ardhayitva. Shatrughna killed Lavanasura. Finally, in Valmiki's ashrama, Sita gave birth to two sons. Yeah, last two verses, Valmiki then what he did was he taught both your sons to sing your beautiful composition. Then the yajna was taking place. Yajna Ashwamedha Yagam, which Rama wanted to do, he needed Sita. And at that time, you were feeling that Sita should come out, but she disappeared into the earth. Bhuma Devi came, she took her away. That's when even Kala, the god of death, Yama, he came, he told you your purpose is done. During that time, again, as the story goes, Durvasa comes in. Lakshmana also had to go into Sarayu Nadi. That's when Lakshmana Murti Avataram is done. Then Rama also had to come. Rama also submerges into Ayodhya along with all other people who were there, even the people of Ayodhya. Thus, all of them, Nakam Prayataha, Nakam Swarga, all of them attain Swarga. Nijapada Magamaha, you reach your Loka, that is Vaikuntham. Ditudeva Vaikunthamadhyam. Thus, 10th shloka is a concluding shloka wherein Bhattatri says, as a lesson for mankind, this Rama Avataram took place, wherein he gives a very, very important here, verse number 10 of Dashakam 35 is a bit philosophical. He says that pangs of separation are caused in human birth because when we are separated from someone or something, what to talk about people? Even if we lose our one pen or so, entire day we are searching for that pen. But like a foolish human being, we don't know, okay, you lose one pen. Definitely look for it, but you can write with something else. Like a fool, we don't do that. We keep everything aside. We look for where my pen went, where my pen went. Right? So this becomes, so Bhattatri says, Martya Shikshartham. Very, very important lesson for mankind, right? That over attachment at times can lead to pangs of separation, just as Rama and Sita had, but ultimately you have to fight for that. So therefore, how can people come out of this is like Rama, who are established in, they know what is correct, they know about their self more, and mind should never be weak. Of course, no doubt Rama's mind also was weak. Weak in the sense he was also crying for Sita due to separation that took place due to his attachment. But definitely he came out of that. Similarly, all of us also, we also are attached to many things and many people around. We also face separation in many situations, but how we come out of that is something which is very, very important. So Pavana Purapate Vyadano Vyaditapan. O Lord of Guruvayur, you please remove my sufferings also from this disease. Which disease? Vatarogam is there, no doubt, but from this disease of attachment. Today, because I'm attached to my body, that's the reason I can feel it. Otherwise, it's okay. If there is no attachment or so, okay, some disease comes, it goes, and so on. I'll be able to face that. But today, because I have so much of attachment, that's the reason today I'm standing in front of you crying and cribbing about things. So you please free me from my disease and also free me from this separation. Sorry, also free me from this over attachment that I have towards things, so that ultimately I'll be always happy in life. Yeah. So this was all about Dashakam 35. Dashakam 36 also we'll see. Dashakam 36, Parshurama Avataram. Now here, okay, Dashakam 35, all of you could follow. Okay. Now Dashakam 36 talks about Parshurama Avataram, but little you have in the first verse you have the mention of Lord Dattatreya. Atre Putra, son of Atri, is Atri and Anasuya is Bhagavan Dattatreya. Datta Abhidajataha. Yeah. So it seems that the Lord was born as Dattatreya, and now whenever you go to any guru, or say when I say guru, like it's a Shankaracharya or people like that, people will go with their dukkhas. You see, there are some certain times wherein we go and meet such souls, right? But usually, if you see people who come there in the morning, evening, whatever time they have, people will have their list of dukkhas that are there. This is not happening, that is not happening, I'm not keeping well, my son is not getting married, and so on. And of course, the Acharya will give some remedy for that or some solution, something. So it seems that like this, many disciples used to always pester Dattatreya. Dattatreya Bhagavan was fed up with saying that people are coming here not for asking something good. Now, all this, of course, in our life also there are problems. People will definitely ask, but too much. This is not happening. That is not happening. People are continuously coming and pestering me. It seems that he could not bear. Bear in the sense he was mentally tired, and that's when he ended up wandering about in the forest. It seems. And at that time, what happened is Dattatreya Bhagavan was met by a devotee, Kartyavirarjuna. Kartyavirarjuna was a king of Hehaya Desha. Now, there were many, if you read up the history of India, Bharata Desha is highlighted in Bhavishya Purana. Those who are interested, you can read. Wherein in Bhavishya Puranam, you have different categories of kings and people who lived in Bharata Desha. In that one category is this Hehayas. In history, of course, we don't study much, therefore, many of you might not be aware, but there is a category of kings called Hehayas. Kartyavirarjuna was ruling over them. And it seems that the Lord he blessed him with all kinds of powers, Ashtasiddhis also, and also said, but Kartavirarjuna had prayed to the Lord, so the Lord says that you will attain mukti in my hands. So towards the end, you will face death at my hands and attain moksha. That was what was told by Dattatreya to Kartavirarjuna. Now, to fulfill this boon, what happened is the next avataram, after being Dattatreya, next he was born as Parshurama Bhagavan to Jamadagni and Renuka Devi. सत्यं कर्तुमथार्जुनस्य च वरं तच्छक्तिमात्रानतम्. Then at that time you were born to Saint Jamadagni and Renuka Devi in the line of Brigus. So in the Brigu Vamsham, Parshurama was born. He was born, his name was Rama only. Okay. Tvam Renukayam Hare Rama Nama. He was also given the word Rama only because always Parshurama had a parashu in his hand, axe in his hand. That's how he gets the name Parshurama. Now Jamadagni had many sons. The youngest of those was Rama, and his parents were very much delighted. And the main purpose of Parshurama Avataram was to kill Kshatriyas who were causing a lot of trouble, who were actually a burden to the earth. They were not doing anything useful for the subjects or useful to the earth. And that's when Parshurama Avataram had to take place. Finally, now at the age of 14, it so happened that by the age of 14, Parshurama Bhagavan got the knowledge of all the Vedas. And it seems at that time, your father, who was there, that is Jamadagni, was a bit angry on his mother Renuka Devi, because Renuka Devi, it seems that all these are stories which are told in the uh, Bhagavatam also, and that's why it has come here. So maybe it's not that common, but you can make a note. Now, the mother of Parshurama, Renuka, she got a bit attached to a Gandharva king, Chitraratha. This Jamadagni came to know and he was very much angry on his mother, and he tells Parshurama that you please cut off your mother's head and also your brothers' heads. Parshurama had a lot of brothers too because they were all not listening to the orders of Jamadagni. And this was done, Parshurama heard. But now Parshurama knew that what he did was wrong, and Jamadagni also, after he had calmed down a bit, now in that anger, in that grief, he told, but he had some divine powers, and Parshurama asked Jamadagni to restore all of them back to life. That's when Mata Chate Datvaran, his mother also was restored back to life, all the brothers also came back to life, and his mother also gave him a lot of boons, it seems. Right? Further, what happened is now all this is a series of incidents that took place. Further, it seems that Jamadagni, in order to please his wife Renuka Devi, he was trying to, like, what should I do? What should I do? They were thinking. At that time, Parshurama Bhagavan, in order to please his mother and father, parents, he brought back Kamadhen from heaven, it seems. And now, so thus both his parents are happy. Kamadhenu, the wish fulfilling tree. At that time, Bhrigu Maharshi comes there and tells Parshurama that now you please Himagirav Aradhya Gauri Patim. You please go to Himalayas and start worshipping Lord Shiva, and you take the axe from him. That's when Himaglabdva Tat Parashum. Lord Shiva Bhagavan will bless you with Parashu and many other divine missiles also. And then you'll be able to kill the Asuras who are there. And that's when Parshuram Bhagavan sets out to Himalayas and he gets the axe. Then at that time, what happened is while Parshurama had gone to Himalayas and was returning back to his ashrama, at that time this Kartavira Arjuna comes to the forest and he comes to this ashrama. Right? So wherein now this Kartavira Arjuna, he knew that this Kamadhenu was there in the ashrama of Jamadagni and he wanted that, so he fought with Jamadagni. uh, he tried his ways how to get it, but he could not get Kamadhenu at all. That's when the king returns back to his uh, kingdom, and he was pestered by his ministers also that somehow you go, you buy the cow, you bring that, and so on. But Jamadagni, the father of Parshurama, stopped saying that no, you should not take this cow away. It has been brought to my ashrama only. At that time, Kartavira Arjuna ended up killing Jamadagni, and because of this, it seems that the Kamadhenu also became very angry and she set out, through her divine powers, she set out many warriors, it seems, to fight with the army of Kartavira Arjuna. Entire army of Kartavira Arjuna was destroyed. So the cow, anyway, he could not take, but the calf who was there with the cow, that was stolen, it seems. But now what happened is, Shukro Jivita, verse number 6, Dashakam 36, Shukracharya brought back Jamadagni to life. That's when Parshurama, when he returns back, he knew this entire event. Jamadagni also told him, and Parshurama was very, very angry. And Parshurama had met a sage. His name was Akrita Vritana. Akrita Vritana was the name of a sage, and with his help, it seems that he meditated upon Mahodara. Dhyata Mahodara Upanihitam. That's when he got the axe, he got the bow, arrows, things like that. He got a charioteer. He entered up Mahishmati, Mahavishan. He entered a place called Mahishmati. And Mahishmati, where Kartavira Arjuna was ruling, the calf had been stolen, and thus the battle started. So this is actually a series of events which had to take place because Dattatreya had told that Dattatreya was told had told in the previous avataram that I'll end up killing you, that you will face death at my hands only for Kartavira Arjuna. For this, the next avataram takes place, Parshurama avataram, and Parshurama starts the battle here. So both of them start fighting. Now Kartavira Arjuna, he had 10,000 sons. All of them were killed. 17 Akshauhini enemies. Armies, we know Akshauhini. So many elephants, horses, chariots, and so on. Lot of friends, great commanders, everyone was killed in the battle. Thus, what happens is entire army was destroyed. All the sons were killed of Kartavira Arjuna, except those who ran away. Finally, it so happened that the king of He Twama Patat He Hayaha, king of He Hayaha, that is Kartavira Arjuna, he also ended up attacking Parshurama. That's when it seems now Kartavirajuna was not a easy warrior to fight with. It seems that he had almost drowned Ravana. So just imagine. And Kartavirajuna also had a lot of various weapons or so. And it seems that he also had got the Sudarshana Chakra, the Vaishnava Chakram from Lord Vishnu. And when he set out that chakram on Parshurama, the chakram could not do anything and it became powerless, it seems. That's when Kartavira Arjuna realizes that the person standing in front of me is none other than Lord Hari himself, and he started meditating on Lord Hari. That thus all the sins of Kartavirajana was purified, he was killed by the Lord, and that's when he attained Vaikuntham as told. Further, what happened is now the sons of Kartavirajana were in great anger that their father was killed, and it seems that looking at this battle also, it seems Renuka Devi was there. She was also in anger, or she was also in a lot of dukkha that her son had to face, and she also was losing her sons and so on. She started crying, it seems. And his father, Jamadagni, was also killed by Kartavira Arjuna. So Renuka Devi, it seems, she was crying at the loss of her husband. So verse number 9. Tate hate, when the father was killed, Renukam Agnanamridayam Niriksha Bahushaha. She was beating her chest and crying out, it seems, at the loss of her husband. That's when Parshurama took a terrible vow that until and unless I get rid of Kshatriyas over Bhulokam, they are all the enemies of sages, Brahmins also. Till then, I'll not sit still. And that's when, having my axe in hand, he ended up killing all the Kshatriyas and made the earth free of Kshatriyas. Thus the father Jamadagni was revived, he was brought back to life. The Lord defeated the Kshatriyas Trisaptakritvapchayan, 3 saptaha, 3 into 7, 21 times, and thus he performed tarpanam, it seems, to his ancestors in a lake. It was actually a lake which became full of blood, which became red because of killing so many Kshatriyas. Samanta Panchakaha, Samanta Panchaka Maharakta Hridauge, full of blood was. And in this sacrifice, he gave away the land to Kashyapa and all other rishis. He got a lot of land under his control by killing Kshatriyas. And thus, he also fought with the Sanat Kumar. He also fought with a person called Salva, and Salva was a king. But then he was stopped by the Sanat Kumaras when the Sanat Kumaras told that, oh Parashurama, now you don't have to fight with Salva. Salva will be fought by Krishna in your later avatarams in Krishna avataram. So Krishna amum nihanishyati, Krishna will kill. Thus you were stopped from fighting the war with Salva by the Kumaras. Finally, last verse, what happens is now Parashurama Bhagavan, he comes, he abandons all his weapons, he goes to Mahendra Parvatam for meditation. Finally, what happened is it seems that wherever he went, there also a lot of sages told that no, Rakshasas are causing me trouble also, or maybe the ocean is also not supporting. That's when what he did was he goes to Gokarna. Gokarna today, which is there in Karnataka, he goes there. And till Gokarnam, it seems that then the land, Go Punaf Manjitam, Gokarna Avadihi, Avadi. He sees that the land till Gokarna is actually submerged in sea. Even today, also, if you go to Gokarna, why Gokarna is known for its beaches? Because the land was actually fully submerged in sea. And it seems that there the sages said, we want to meditate at this place. He frightens ocean god with Agni Astram, and he throws. After Gokarna, he still comes in Dakshina. He still moves further in Dakshina Disha. He throws his, you can say, a weapon there, and that when he throws, he pushes back the sea, it seems, and cuts off a land. The land which is cut off, that's how it is the land of Kerala. So उत्सार्यो उद्धृत Sruvakshepana Utsaryo Dhrita Keralo Brigupate. So that land which is separated from water, that's nothing but today's Kerala Desham that we have. So O Parshurama, O Brigupati, he cries out, Brigupate Vatesha Samrakshaman. Brigupati Parshurama, Lord of Guruvayur, you please Samrakshamam, please protect me. So what all you have done, you have freed, you have listened to whatever your parents said, your father said, Renuka Devi said, you have freed down Kshatriyas, you have protected the sages, you have brought Kerala Desham also. Further now, oh Lord, kindly protect me also. With this, Parshuram Avataram comes to an end. Dashakam 37, 38, Krishna Avatara Prarambham and Krishna Avataram. We look at that next time.